Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Okay, we are going live here in just 1 second. Detroit, I see you in the chat there. Welcome. Give me a second to get started. All right, I think we're good. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Andrew, and this is Rocket Future. Today's stream is a little bit different. I wanted to kind of do one of my usual streams where I would set up a camera and do some commentary in front of the camera and everything, but there's just so much happening at Starbase right now. I wanted to see how well a Jeep stream would work. So we're in our Jeep right now. We got our PTZ camera hooked up. I'm going to try to bring you from point to point here at Starbase to show you all the craziness that's going on. There's so much construction happening, road work, really just everything. But I want to jump right into it because I think this is going to take a while. But right now we're on Boca Chica Beach, and as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a couple lifts going up at the OLM and on the actual launch tower itself. So I'll try to zoom us in a little bit more to take a look at that. Now, of course, SpaceX is hard at work getting the OLM and the tower and the pad and everything back in good shape for whenever the next launch might be. We still don't know when that launch is going to be, but we're hoping it's going to be sometime this year, and maybe even sooner. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of in progress that could really shift the timeline. So I'm not comfortable really coming up with an idea yet. But there's been a bunch of crews working at that OLM for weeks now, and they're going hard at work there. There's scaffolding on the OLM. And they continue to use lifts to work on the launch tower. If I'm not mistaken, I don't believe there is a functional elevator in the launch tower right now, so they're continuing to use lifts for this work and to bring people up and down the tower. So just keep an eye on these folks who are working on the tower and the mount. But I did want to show you one other thing. Just to the right of the launch tower, of course, from this angle, we have the orbital tank farm. And you'll notice the left two tanks. Those are the two tanks that looked like they got severely damaged during the orbital launch attempt on, or the integrated launch attempt on 420. And those tanks were very heavily dented and pushed in. Now, of course, these are just the outer shells of these tanks. They're just a cover for them. The tanks inside are safe and intact and everything. But it looks like they've done a lot of work to actually pull out those dents in this outer shell. So that's really interesting to me. So we'll have to talk a little bit about what SpaceX's plans are for the orbital tank farm here in a little bit. Need Pizza says the elevator has been replaced and is working again. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for that update, Pizza. As y'all probably realize, I haven't been live the last 2 weeks because I've been traveling and doing addressing some family commitments and going up to see family. So I'm back now. We're back at the streams and everything. Happy to be down here. But I'm sure there's some stuff that's changed in the last couple weeks that I'm not privy to yet. So if anything that I say is out of date, it's going to take me, it'll take me a few days up to a week to kind of resettle in with what's happening down here to make sure that I'm up to date. I'm talking a mile a minute about what's going on here, but if you're just joining us, my name is Andrew, and this is Rocket Future. Today we're just driving through Starbase and showing you all of the insane construction that's happening at Starbase. I'll take it down a notch and slow down a little bit and just recap what we've talked about so far. So, again, we have this live view of the orbital tank farm that we're looking at right now. So I was curious why they started repairing this damage on the tank farm. We did understand that SpaceX plans to move most of these tanks into a horizontal position. There'll be new tanks. They won't be, actually moving these tanks. But we really don't know when that's going to happen. So it appears that they have been doing some work fixing the damage on these tanks. Just to make them, I think, look better again, and they may plan to use these tanks for the next launch attempt. Now, it's important to note the two tanks that were damaged the most weren't liquid oxygen or methane tanks, so there wasn't really a big risk there. and like I said, the tanks inside were most likely fine. I think one of them is a water tank, and the other one isn't used for anything. I think there was a defect with the tank or something way back in the day. So anyway, that's the orbital tank farm. It looks like they've done a lot of work on that in the last few days. And just a little while ago, we talked about the orbital launch tower and orbital launch mount, which we're going to see SpaceX working on the tower and the mount for quite some time here until it's back into shape for the next launch. One thing that I want to point out that we'll talk about a little bit further, deeper in a little bit, is Ship 25. You can see Ship 25 sticking out the left-hand side of the screen there. So it's really cool to see Ship 25 back down at the launch site. Hopefully you joined us for our Ship 25 rollout stream that we did a couple weeks ago. But if not, you can find that on our channel. So we're just going to sit here for just a few minutes and take a look at this view and just kind of greet people into the stream, provide a quick update on Rocket Future, and then we're going to start driving down Boca Chica Beach and take a left onto Boca Chica Boulevard, and we're going to take a look at all the construction and everything that's going on. We'll take a stop at Ship 25 if we can. There's not a lot of spots to park up there anymore. And then we're going to head down to the build site and see all the crazy work that's going on there as well. So this should be a pretty cool stream. I do want to see if I have enough hard drive space to start recording this. Yeah, I do. So I'm going to start recording this. This will be good to post to the channel later. I think we might have froze there for a second when I started recording, but I think we're good now. One thing to note is when we are moving from point to point, there's a pretty good chance we're going to lose signal. So just, bear with us just until we regain Starlink signal. The stream is being brought to you through satellites. We're using Starlink today. We always use Starlink down here at Boca Chica Beach. So we might lose connection when we're actually rolling, but that should just be for a couple minutes at a time at most. It's a super nice day out here. Let me pan over to the right here just for a second so you can see the beach. While I kind of talk about Rocket Future. So, my Starlink pole might be... No, it should be alright. I'll go past the pole here. So like I said, I was away for a couple weeks. Just doing a little bit of traveling, seeing family, and just dealing with just other life stuff. So happy to be back in town. And ready to get back at these streams and ready to kind of start documenting Ship 25 and Booster 9. So that's another big piece of news that happened in the last couple of weeks. SpaceX did confirm that Ship 25 and Booster 9 are their next vehicles up for launch. That's, of course, as of right now. That could always change, but the plan right now is for Ship 25 to be the next launch, which is really cool. And the fact that it's down here at the launch site is great. And I believe there's even a road closure scheduled for Monday. Not sure what they plan to do on that road closure yet, but I'm hoping to see some some Ship 25 testing. So that's happening fast. So that's really cool to see. So yeah, what you're seeing right now is Boca Chica Beach, right next to Starbase here. Again, we're just about the southern tip of Texas on the Gulf Coast. Just about as far south in the United States as you can get, with the exception of the Florida Keys and Hawaii and stuff like that. But yeah, we're down here in South Texas, and this is the beach that Starbase is on. It's summer, kicking in fast down here. It was like I think over 100 in Brownsville today, but here on the water it's 90 or a little bit below 90. But it's beautiful beach weather. I'm definitely going to try to get onto the beach sometime this weekend. But let's pan back to Starbase, and then we'll get on the road here in just a couple minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat. If there's specific things you want to see here at Starbase, let me know, and I'll make sure I stop and we see those things during the stream today. I want to tweet out as well. I already tweeted out they were live, but I did want to tweet out one more thing about today's stream, so just give me a second. So I've been thinking a lot about what my plan is for the upcoming streams, especially when there was no testing planned. I was curious how I was going to tackle our streams, because usually, generally speaking, with Rocket Future, we're not down here, every day and getting the daily updates about all the small stuff that's happening. Generally speaking, we just try to get the big things, the static fires and the testing and the cryo tests and all that stuff. But of course, things are changing a little bit down here with the pacing. They're working on infrastructure more than they are tests right now, so we're having to adjust our plan a little bit, which is totally fine. So we're going to try to do at least a weekly stream update from here, something similar to what we're doing here today. We'll see how that goes, and then we'll figure out what the weekly stream schedule is. And of course, Starbase is our bread and butter, and we're going to stick with Starbase content for a while. Really excited to see what happens with this next launch, hopefully this year. But we're going to do some other space content as well. I planned some content about the upcoming solar eclipses and also all sorts of other stuff too. So that's really cool. Detroit Mission Control asks, is SpaceX planning on cleaning up all the concrete from the concrete tornado? I doubt it. To be honest with you, they've cleaned up a lot of it. They've cleaned up all of it on the road and everything, but I don't think that they're gonna go through the dunes and clean it all up. I don't think it's posing a lot of a risk to any wildlife or anything. Some of the concrete does have some metal in it, but I don't see it being a major risk to anything. I just don't see them going through and picking it all up. But you never know. I could be wrong. And I will show you a big piece of concrete here in just a minute, but when we roll out of here, I think you'll find this amusing. But yeah, I'll show you that in a second. Hey, Space Girl Falcon, welcome, Space Girl Falcon. It's good to see you. Welcome today. Welcome in. So let me turn. I'm gonna turn here, and we're probably gonna lose connection for a minute. So give me just a moment. Okay, it doesn't look like we've dropped yet. So let me show you some crazy concrete here. It's going to take me a minute to pan over. So, of course, this is the launch site. All right, here we go. Let me get out of the car for a second, and I can show you the scale of this concrete. So, of course, this is a huge slab of concrete that came off of the orbital, the launch pad, and kind of yeeted over here to the beach. And I'll show you, I'll go over there for scale. 1 second. It's probably about 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet, which is just kind of crazy. And then I'll show you where we are compared to the launch tower again here. Welcome, Joshua Shupp. Good to see you, Joshua. So yeah, we're pretty good distance away from the launch facility here. So the fact that made it all the way over here is quite impressive. And I know there's some that made it quite a bit further than this too. So yeah. If you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe. It's free. That'll allow you to stay up to date with when we go live and everything. And if you want to support the channel further, we do allow memberships on the channel. So if you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe. It helps us a lot, especially early on in the stream. Likes and all that content, all that stuff really helps YouTube push out our content. So thank you so much. Detroit says, I just think the concrete looks really bad and SpaceX needs to clean it up after itself. I don't disagree. I definitely don't disagree. I don't think it's going to happen. They did do a big cleanup thing. I don't even know what to talk about it, but they came out here and picked up all the rebar. And then a lot of volunteers came out here and picked up a lot of foam. But the concrete, I just don't see them doing it. But I don't disagree with you at all, Detroit. I think it would be good to see them trying to do that for sure. Okay, so I think that is the wrap up for this angle here. If you're just joining us, you can always rewind. We showed you some of the work that they were doing to the orbital tank farm and how it looks like they've repaired a couple of those really dented tanks. And we just showed that they're continuing to work on the OLM and tower, and we're gonna keep driving down Highway 4 and show you all that. When we're moving, we might lose signal. Just bear with us, and we'll be back here in just a second. Joshua says, I sent you a message a few weeks ago on Twitter about helping you with your website. Did you ever get it? I don't think so, Joshua. Let me check. There's a second section in my messages that like spam, not like spam will go to or whatever. Let me check that to see if it's in there. But I've been behind on Twitter messages in general. I know there's a few that I saw and didn't reply to. Yeah, let me double check. But I appreciate you reaching out, Joshua. I know we talked about any ideas that you had to let me know last stream. So I'll let you know if I don't have that in my inbox, and I'll let you know, and then we can chat about those. SpaceX has a duty to be good stewards of the wildlife refuge. I agree, 100%, definitely. Okay, while I'm driving here, I will not be looking at chat, of course, and I'm going to put the mic down. So just bear with us here for a minute. Alright, I'm going to pull over to the side of the road here, and we'll take another look at the OLM and the work that they're doing to the tower, and then we'll keep moving on. Alright, so now we are on Highway 4. Let's see, I think the camera froze. There we go. So yeah, we're on the side of Highway 4 here. Let's see if the camera fixes itself. Sometimes I need to reset it when it's doing this, which is a pain. Come on. I'm just going to give it a minute and we can reset it if it keeps happening. So yeah, we're on Highway 4 here. Just another angle of the OLM and tower. But this is honestly, you know, there's a bunch of folks working on the tower and the pad and stuff, but this is the least of what's going on right now. There's so much happening, especially down on Highway 4, on the side of Highway 4, and at the build site. Let me reset this camera real quick. You're going to see a black screen here for a minute. Yeah, so what we're looking at right now is actually a frozen screen. When that reboots, we'll get a live screen again. But you can see those lifts. One at a couple at the OLM, and then one up near the chopsticks. So they got a bunch of scaffolding up on the OLM, and they're doing a bunch of work. Just basically when the rocket took off from there, we can see the camera trying to reconnect now. I think they did more damage to the pad than they thought they would, mostly from all that concrete that came up. So they replaced any parts that they need to replace on the launch mount itself and on the tower, those chopsticks as well. So I think they're going to continue working on these things for a while. I think it's going to take them a bit to kind of finish all that up. It sounds like it wasn't as bad as it looked, which is great. But I'm sure there's still a ton to do. Good to hear that the elevator is working again in the tower. That looked like it was quite the hassle to keep up with, bringing people up and down the tower on lifts. So, okay, so this is the previous frame. So now let's see if we can get the live shot again. Yep. All right, we are live again with our camera, and it is no longer glitching out. These are the dunes. It's just going to take me a minute to pan over. Now we can get some good zoom shots of the OLM, and then we'll move forward. You can see the top of my Jeep there as well. Joshua says, is there any reason to believe the next test flight might use hot staging? I saw a lot of conversation about that based on... So there was... Somebody got a good picture of a new ring, like a booster ring or a ship ring, and it had these interesting cutouts in it. And people weren't really sure what those cutouts would be for, and a couple of the theories mentioned hot staging and whether or not the next ship or booster designs would use hot staging. I am going to be completely honest. I don't even know what hot staging really is. I think I do, but I haven't confirmed it. So I still have to look into that. That happened kind of while I was away. So there are some theories about them using hot staging. Joshua says, wait, never mind, I just realized they can't. So, Joshua, is hot staging basically... So, we saw those cutouts where the booster would meet the ship, and is that just so they can start the processes on the engines earlier on the ship? Is that what hot staging would be? I haven't actually looked up the definition of it. That's what I assumed it is. So yeah, not a ton to look at on the OLM right now. You can see a couple people up top working on it. But regardless of what those pieces were for, whether it's related to hot staging or not, it looked really interesting. I'm very curious to hear or to see what those turn out to be. Joshua confirms and says, "Yep." All right, that's what I assumed. So, like, what out there currently uses hot staging? What vehicles? Did the N1 use hot staging? Because it had kind of similar stuff. We're a little bit overexposed here on the camera. Let me bring the exposure down a little bit. It's when the second stage ignites before separation. Gotcha. Yeah. That's pretty much what I thought. That's pretty crazy that that's even an option for some rockets. That's impressive. I can see a lot of plastic kind of hanging out off of that scaffolding. And those doors, the new door hole cut in to this side of the OLM. You can see that new hole there. N1 did hot staging. Gotcha. All right, so if there's nothing specific people want to see here, we're going to move forward, and I'll show you the next things. And let me just check to see if anybody tweeted out anything specific they want to see. Detroit Mission Control, thank you so much for tweeting out our stream here, or retweeting. Or, yeah, thank you so much, Detroit. I don't know if Andrew Paris is in chat, but Andrew Paris says he wants to see Stage 0 construction, which is what we're seeing now. So very good. And Joshua is not sure if anybody else uses hot staging right now. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know here. Not that I know of. If Gadget Nate is here, Gadget Nate wants me to do an interview for Countdown to the Moon with Starship in the background. I can certainly do that. I don't know if today's the day, but next week, hey, if you're here, Nate, let me know, and let's schedule something for next week. We can do that for sure. That sounds like a blast. Okay, I'll keep looking to see if there's any more updates. So, what's the next thing we're gonna check out here? We're gonna drive down, and I'm gonna show you some of the damage that still exists on the walls here at Starbase, right past the orbital tank farm. We'll take a look at that. We'll go check out Ship 25, and we'll keep going from there. Detroit says there's a theory out there, in order for SpaceX to human rate Starship, that they need to have what? You're keeping me on the edge of my seat here, Detroit. Some capability of emergency abort option. Gotcha, and that's why people would consider whether or not hot staging would be related to that, I guess. And Joshua's going to look into who uses hot staging. Sounds good. All right, we're going to move forward here. Again, just to repeat, we may lose signal while we're moving, although we didn't last time. But if we lose signal, we're going to be back with you in, less than a minute probably. So let me get my camera straight forward here. Actually, I'll keep it a little bit left. All right, be back with you here in a second. Just gonna let somebody pass me here, and I'm gonna check to make sure my the pole is tight on the back of my vehicle. So just give me a second here. All right. Got one other person coming. I'm gonna let them pass. They're going really slow, though. That dinging is because my back door isn't shut fully. I gotta shut that. All right, we're going to pull over here for just a second. Let me shut my back door so I don't forget. Making sure I'm not blocking anybody, and I don't think I am. So the reason why I pulled over here was just to show you some of the damage that they still have yet to fix. You can see all of the holes blown through this metal grate just to the left-hand side of me. But not only are there holes in that grate, but there are holes in the wall to the right. But before I pan over to the right, you can see just the top of the shielding of the launch tower too that has been burned up. You can see the white burn marks there on those shielding pieces to the launch tower. I'll zoom in there for a quick second so you can see what's going on there, and we can take a look at what these guys are doing in the lift as well. Yeah. The Russian Soyuz still uses hot staging. Wow. Space Girl Falcon says, I miss being there. Thank you for a live stream. No problem at all. We miss you as well. Hope to see you here soon. All right, let's zoom out and take a look at the damage on this wall, and then we'll keep moving forward again. So you can see these big holes that have been again ripped through from that orbital launch, or I keep saying orbital launch test. I never will not say orbital launch test, but integrated flight test. So I'd expect them to try to fix these up here pretty soon as well. All right, we're gonna keep moving forward. Next stop is Ship 25. We're gonna try to see if we can pull over and get a good view of Ship 25, but there's a lot of construction going on the road, which is another thing I want to show you. But if we can pull over and get a good view of Ship 25, we will, so bear with me. Belen says, hi, Andrew. Nice to see you. We're back in business. Oh, yeah, we're back and rolling. And good to see you, too, Belen. And Stephanie B, welcome, Stephanie B. And just a reminder again, if we get disconnected when we're driving, we will... it'll only take a couple minutes to get reconnected, so just bear with us. Good view of Starhopper and Hoppy. we're going to have a pretty good view here in Ship 25 in just a second. I'm on the side of the road here in a pull-off, which is good. The camera froze again. Let me fix that, and then I'll give you a view of Ship 25, and we'll talk a little bit about the plan for Ship 25. Space Girl Falcon says, concrete tornado. Yep, did a lot of damage. Detroit Mission Control says hello to Hoppy. We can we get a view of Hoppy from this angle as well. Our camera's back live. Looks good. Detroit says, I can't wait till my next trip down there this fall. That's going to be cool, Detroit. Yeah, I'm glad you're coming down. That's awesome. I'm just seeing my camera glitching again. So that's one thing. Now that we're what's the word I'm trying to think of? I don't know. Gaining momentum back on the channel here after a month. We're gonna be doing some more upgrades to our equipment, and as you can see, this camera might be on its last legs. The good news is I do have a new camera. It is not a PTZ camera, but it's not gonna replace this one. I'll have to get a replacement for this one too. But we do have a nice new camera that we're gonna be able to get some great shots of. You saw some of those shots from some of our most recent streams. So we do have a new camera that we're gonna start using more and more. But we will need a replacement for this PTZ camera as well. As you can see, I'm gonna have to reset it again. And it's pretty expensive, so I'll use this moment to say that if you like what we're doing here on the channel and you want to keep seeing more content, you want to help us build the channel bigger and better, we do have memberships on the channel, and that money goes right back into this equipment, these cameras and stuff. I'll have to replace this one. I'm gonna start with just trying to replace cables. It could just be a cable issue, but I don't think so, because every time I reset the connections, I don't know. It seems like it's fine for a while, but I'm gonna reset this camera one more time, and then we'll take a look at Ship 25. And also the construction that's happening in front of us. It's pretty crazy. Joshua says, I hope everybody is doing okay in the Northeast with the air quality. It was well over 200 here in Delaware this morning. It's crazy. I have a lot of family up there. I was up in Massachusetts last week. And I have a bunch of friends in New York, and just the pictures they've been showing are nuts. Let me go fix this camera. I'll be right back. All right, so as you can see, that is frozen while it resets. There's not two of me. But yeah, the whole Canada fires is so nuts. It's just the impact it's having to like the New York and New England areas is just insane. So crazy. New York got the worst of it, yeah, for sure. The pictures I saw from yesterday were just absolutely nuts. Just like orange. Everything looked orange because, you know, obviously the sun coming through the smoke. It's just so nuts. Crazy stuff. Camera should reconnect here in a second. All right. Now I just got to click this one and click this one, and we should have a live view again, and hopefully it's not glitching out. Nope, we are good. All right, one other thing I wanted to point out was all of this construction they're doing on the right-hand side of the highway when looking west. They have the whole right side of the road, you know, off the shoulder, dug up. It looks like they're running new electricity cables, and who knows what else. But it doesn't look as insane on camera as it does in person, but it looks like a major project. But let's tune over to Ship 25 now and the suborbital tank farm. Too far, camera, too far. I'm so ready to get a new replacement camera for this thing. I'm so done with this one. It is a pain, but that's okay. We're working with what we got right now. So this is Starship S-25. As you know, On April 20th, just a couple months ago, SpaceX launched the first fully integrated Starship rocket. And that was made up of Ship 24 and Booster 7. And just in a video a couple weeks ago, SpaceX announced that the next vehicles that would be making up the next integrated flight test was going to be Ship 25 and Booster 9. So this is the ship right here, Ship 25. It's already undergone, is that a word? A lot of testing. It's gone through cryo testing. I think has Starship S-25 ever static fired? I forget, but if it has, there's video of it on my channel, so check that out. But there's a road closure Monday, so hopefully we'll see some exciting testing on Monday as well. But Ship 25 is looking good. You know, SpaceX right now says this is going to be the next ship to go. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes at some point, but until otherwise stated, this is the plan. Ship 25 is going to be the next one to try to make it off to Hawaii. I think as far as we know, the second flight will be very similar to the first flight attempt. They'll use, you know, a similar trajectory and just try to get further into that mission profile. So we're looking at the base there of Ship 25. Those flaps are still kind of tied in that quick disconnect. And then as we go up Ship 25, that access hole is actually open right now, or partially open right now. Let's try to get zoomed in on there and get focused in. It'll just take me a second to focus it. Give me a second here. Not much to see in there, but they're actively working on this thing, so very cool to see. It's got its full set of tiles. They might need to replace some prior to whenever that launch attempt might be. And of course, it's got those hooks at top that will be removed prior to launch as well. This one doesn't have the ship insignia on it. Ship 24 had a nice S24 logo right on the left-hand side near that flap, but nothing on Ship 25 like that yet. Detroit says, we've had bad air quality alerts for over a week now here in Detroit because of the wildfires. That is crazy. It's really impacting a lot of the country. Obviously, my heart goes out to those directly impacted by the fires themselves in Canada, but also all these other folks that might be impacted by it. It's so crazy. So we're still at the launch complex, but we're on the suborbital side. Sorry that I keep going back and forth. Just working with this dying camera. So this is the suborbital pad B or A. There's two suborbital pads, and the orbital tank farm is just to the left here. These are all the tanks that make up the suborbital tank farm, and of course Hoppy over there to the left as well, Star Hopper. So we should see, hopefully we'll see this side of the tank farm get spooled up on Monday, indicating that there's going to be testing on Ship 25. I have a feeling they'll probably start with a cryo test or something similar, just to make sure all the ground support equipment is working correctly and that Ship 25 is hooked up and looking good. I don't think since they moved Ship 25 down here that they've done anything like that on it yet. So I'm sure they want to make sure that everything is looking good. So I'll be placing a remote camera out here, hopefully, which actually might be tough to do with the current construction that's going on, but I'll find a place. I'll be putting a remote camera for whatever test is happening Monday, so stay tuned to our Twitter and our YouTube channels, because whatever test that they're going to be happening, I'll have a camera real close that should get a great shot of that test. It's not going to be live, but I'll post that video after. We will have a live stream up too, though. That'll just be from Isla Blanca Park, where we usually do our testing streams from, so it won't be as close, but we should still get a great view of it. I anticipate the weather being clear, and we should have a great shot of whatever testing that will be on Monday. So again, if you're just joining us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Again, it's free. That'll let you know that we're doing these live streams whenever we do it. We're going to move on here in just a couple of minutes to the build site where they actually build these rockets. Again, this is the world's largest, most powerful rocket that they're building down here at Starbase. This is the launch complex that we've been hanging out at for the last how long have we been? 50 minutes, 50 minutes. And now we're going to move to the build site where they're actually building this. And they're doing so much construction at the build site. It's insane. I'm hoping I can keep the stream going while we're driving through a lot of the construction. Again, there's a ton of like the road torn up on the right-hand side They're building the new Mega Bay and the Star Factory, whatever they're calling it. It's just they're just doing so much work. It's blowing my mind. It's only been 2 weeks that I haven't been down here, and it feels like it's going through like a complete revamp. It really feels like Starbase is going through a complete revamp, which is crazy. 25 is on Pad B, confirms Detroit Mission Control. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm a little bit out of practice here since launch day. I've only done a couple streams since launch day. I needed that time, but now we're back in it. We're back in the swing of things. So in another couple weeks, I'll be back in the swing of things, and hopefully I'll be remembering all these important little details. I'm just checking my Twitter to see if there's anybody that requested anything specific from this stream. I'm not seeing any additional requests, so we will keep moving forward here in just a minute. I'll wait for the traffic to kind of die down a little bit. There's a lot of people coming. Let's take a look at Starhopper. Starhopper took some damage from the launch as well, but it's pretty resilient. It's a lot more solid than any of these other ships. This thing is a lot thicker. It just took some of its outer shiny shell off, basically. But Starhopper's still standing strong. We can get another view of those tanks, actually, that they've been doing work on. So we started the stream on the opposite side of these tanks. And I was saying that these tanks... Sorry, let me go back. These tanks had some serious damage and dents to them from the launch, but they've spent some time pulling out those dents. So as you can see, that those large tanks in the background, the tan tanks, don't look too out of shape. You can still see some damage there, but it's impressive that they pulled out all of those dents. Wow, this is quite the traffic line. I'm concerned that we're close to a shift change, which would just mean that it's going to be a little difficult pulling off the road up ahead to get some of these shots, but we're going to make it work. Just going to have some water here. The sun is right in my eyes. Yeah, there's a lot of people pulling out. So here's the deal, folks. Generally speaking, if I keep it moving pretty slow, I don't lose connection while I'm driving, but I'll probably have to speed up since there's a lot of traffic. So when I'm moving to this next location, I would say more than likely I'm going to lose connection, probably for up to 2 or 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere because the work that they're doing at the build site is actually nuts. I'd like y'all to see that. So if we lose connection here while we're driving, just bear with us, stick with us while we reconnect. Again, we're connecting to you through Starlink right now. So if we get too off course, the Starlink has to readjust to find the satellite. I'm gonna wait for a gap here. Get my seatbelt on. I think I see a gap. All right. If we lose connection, I'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes. All right. It took longer than I thought to reconnect, but it looks like we have reconnected. The one downside is it looked like my chat wasn't able to reconnect, so I won't be able to look at chat on OBS, but that's okay. I can look at it on my phone here. Yazada is here. Yazada says, "Hi everybody, just got back from work and saw on Twitter that you were streaming. Looks like my arrival broke it. Spinning wheel of death. Sorry. No worries, Yazada. We were just relocating here at Starbase from the launch site, which we just did an overview of, down to the build site. Now, we stopped a little bit shy of the build site here just because I wanted to point out a lot of the construction they're doing here. And we're going to wait for a big open gap on the road, and then we will continue towards the build site at a slow pace and hopefully not lose connection. But I do want to show y'all this construction that's happening here. So let me adjust the angles here, and then we're gonna start rolling here again. I see a pretty big gap coming up. So hopefully we'll stay with connection this time if we go slower. And huge shout out to Yazada for being a member. Thank you so much, Yazada. We were just talking about how we have to replace one of our cameras. And we wouldn't be able to do that without the support from our members here. So thank you so much. Just so much construction happening, it's insane. It might be a little hard to see because of the way the sun angle is right now, but it's just all construction here. Oh, shit. Alright, I'm gonna have to speed up again. I might lose connection. Somebody pulled out of somewhere. Alright, we're back again. Sorry about that. I waited for a big gap, and then, yeah, somebody pulled out from a side road behind me, so I had to, hurry up again. And my camera is failing again. What a mess. Alright, let me reset it one more time. Alright, when my camera resets here, we will get a good angle of all of the construction they're doing on the side of Highway 4 here at the build site. This is a pretty good angle, and we'll be able to see inside the high bay and the mega bay from here as well. So I'll give you a shot. You can see the frozen frame on the screen here. I'll get, that'll be live again once the camera boots back up. That'll just take a couple minutes. Do you think SpaceX will reuse the ground fabrication building? I am honestly not sure. They're getting rid of so many buildings right now. I have no idea what they're going to reuse or not. I'll show you some of that here in a second as well. Any ideas how deep the trench is under the OLM currently? I don't think there's much of a trench under the OLM right now, actually. I think a lot of it's been fixed. Alright, camera's live again. Alright, so let me show you what we're dealing with here. So this is looking back towards the launch site, and you can see all of this construction material along the highway. I'm going to slowly pan back over to the left, next to the Jeep here. And you can see it's all dug up to lay that cable. This is my pole that I have my Starlink and camera mounted to at the moment. Keep panning over. It's just so much construction. I can't even believe it. When I drove down here, I was so surprised. And then I'll show you one of the buildings that they're tearing down. As it comes into view right now. So I know this stream has been, as I've been moving from point to point, I've been having, my connection drop, and then I've been having a couple camera issues too. But it's worth noting that I'm recording all of this, and I'll post a video that kind of summarizes all of this after as well. So this is one of the buildings that they're tearing down right now. As you can see, they're a good ways through that process. Give you even a little bit more zoom there. But I'll tell you, with all the work they're doing, I'm wondering how long it's going to take for this place to kind of look neat again. Right before launch attempt, you can see that building there that they're taking down. Right before launch attempt, this place looked prim and proper, and like they lined a bunch of the roads with palm trees, and it actually looked very, very nice. They did a really good job at making this place look nicely polished. And it's in such disarray right now, and not in a bad way, because obviously they're doing all this work, but it's just like they're just doing so much work that I'm just wondering how long it's gonna look like it's like a mess like this. But they got to do what they got to do, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let's take a quick look into the high bay and mega bay, and then we're going to move on to one of our last two stops. So we're looking inside the high bay right now. We can see two ships in there. I think there's actually a lift up there as well right now. So what are we looking at? Let's see. Ship 27 is out in the garden. What ships are we looking at? Like I said, I've been away for a couple weeks. I gotta get back into shape with knowing where everything is. But we got two ships in the high bay right now. Somebody in chat, I'm sure, will know. Detroit's been answering my questions all day, so I'm sure somebody will be able to help us with what ship is and boosters are in here. So now over to the mega bay. So they're not stopping anytime soon. They're making so many ships, making so many boosters, doing a lot of construction to the road. Of course, they're building the new Star Factory building, or however they're calling it right now, which is going to take up the majority of the footprint of these buildings that you're seeing right now. Most of this, I think, will be gone and will be replaced with that Star Factory building. Stephanie B says S28 and S29 in the high bay. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And Andy as well. 28 and 29 are in the high bay. 28 and 29. Okay, so 27, 26. Okay, got it. 28 and 29. I'll remember that now. Stephanie B actually corrected me and said there's a massive hole under the OLM still to install the deluge system. Yeah, so I know they were working on that. But did they fill in? I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right. I'll have to watch the most recent RGV aerial stream because I didn't catch that one this last weekend. But I assumed that they kind of filled in a lot of the damage from the launch attempt, and then in parallel, we're starting to work on the deluge system, or the kind of pancake, the steel pancake situation. So I'll have to catch up with the RGV streams and check out the most recent views of under the pad. But Stephanie B says there is still a giant hole under the pad. So it's good to see that they're working on that still. I'm really excited to see that installed. It's going to be really cool to see that being tested and in action. So that's one thing I think we're going to be able to see being tested while we're here on site. The question is there going to be enough heads up? I think we might just have to get lucky. But I think if we get lucky, we'll be able to see them testing that type of stuff from here on site. I don't think there's any reason they'd have to close the road or anything for that. So I'm excited for that. Thanks everybody with your patience while I'm getting back up to speed here. I really appreciate you stopping in. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've had our streams up, but we're back in the action and we're gonna go at it strong. Really excited to fall back into the loop and the swing of things here. As SpaceX continues to test Starship S-25, we got S-28 and 29 now I know in the high bay. And there's just so much action happening. All of this construction along the highway, the Star Factory building being built, some of these buildings being torn down to make room for the new building. It's just so much happening, all while we're all wondering when the next launch is going to be. And of course, we don't quite know yet, and we don't know if any of those lawsuits are going to play into that timeline or anything. But we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that we see one this year. And it could, if things go really well, it could be fairly soon. But I'm not holding my breath. We're going to wait patiently and hope we get another launch this year. So our next stop is going to be, I'm going to try to pull across from the high bay and mega bay to see if we can see anything interesting happening in the ring yard. And then we'll pull a little bit further up and see if we can see anything happening at the rocket garden. I probably won't go right up to the rocket garden. And then we'll pull over across from the Starbase sign, and behind the Starbase sign we'll see them building the next mega bay, which is really cool to see them put those pieces together. So we'll take a look at that as well. So our next move here, I don't know whether or not we're going to be able to go slowly or if we're going to lose connection. It does seem that Starlink is taking a little bit longer to reconnect than I remember. So again, it'll be 2 or 3 minutes if we get disconnected, up to 5 minutes if it really takes a long time. But I'm gonna try to wait for a really good gap here, and just hope we can go nice and slow and not lose connection at all. Excuse me. I'm gonna keep the camera to the right, and I'm gonna also check my Twitter to see if there's any requests for what to see here today. I don't see any additional requests coming in, so now we just wait for the traffic. And what I have noticed is every time that I've had to pull out and drive, that is when my camera has glitched out. So I'm wondering if it is just a connection issue. So I'm going to replace my Ethernet connection. This is an IP camera, which is half the reason why we're dealing with some of these issues we're dealing with. But I'm gonna if it's replicable replicable every time I come drive out, maybe it's just a connection issue. All right, I'm going for it. All right, so the good news is we didn't lose internet connection, but we did lose our camera connection again. So that's got to be just a loose cable. So that's actually good news. That's easier to fix than a broken camera. So I'm gonna go just reset that one connection, and then we got a different view here of this building they're tearing down, and then we also have a view of a different view of the high bay and mega bay. So just give me a second. camera will be back live in a second. Let's see. Who do we got? Detroit Mission Control says, yes, they are removing soil beneath the OLM to put in the water deluge system. They put in steel sheet piles, so the soil won't cave in. That camera is resetting now. Yep, I'm very excited to see that new deluge system in place when that's done. That's going to be great. I'm really excited to see that thing in action. Joshua Shupp says, what's going on with Starliner and SLS? I heard they're in hot water. Let's talk about this for a second while my camera reconnects here. And I know my other camera here is kind of a weird situation because of the shadow that we got. But that's okay for now. So, yeah, I haven't read much about it yet, but I saw the post and the article saying that Boeing is being accused of fraud and then using like kind of a stolen tool system that actually led to poor quality control, which actually might have been a direct reason for why there was leak issues on SLS and some other Boeing contracted companies that, contract Boeing may also run into similar issues. It sounds like it's going to be a huge mess. That was specific to SLS. Starliner is another issue entirely, also Boeing. And they recently had a quote-unquote change of safety culture, and they stated, I can get this camera live now, and they stated that basically they identified a couple new risks on Starliner. I don't think this camera actually is live. A couple new risks on Starliner that they're going to have to fix before this next launch. So as we know, Starliner is a crewed vehicle that's supposed to be an International Space Station vehicle that brings people from the International Space Station. It was contracted around the same time as Dragon, and they've just been running into a bunch of issues. And I was really hopeful that Boeing would get their act together and get this thing solved, but at this point, I'm concerned about the safety of the vehicle and these types of things. But I'm not saying that Starliner is going to get scrapped, but at this point, it just doesn't look great. I'm going to have to reset this camera one more time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here so far. We got another good view coming into you here in just a second. I'm going to edit all this down after and post this video on my channel so you can get a good edited view of all the stuff that we saw here today. We're going to be upgrading our equipment as we go along here, so any support from the community is so welcome. Thank you so much to our members like Yazada, anybody who does super chats or anything. All of that money goes straight into the equipment to run this channel. Again, we do have a new camera, and we've ran that camera on a lot of streams so far, but on these rolling streams, that camera is not really what we need to use. We need to use this PTZ camera that's back on the back of the Jeep. So I'm going to reset it one more time. I'm going to replace this cable after today's stream, and if we need to scrap the camera eventually, we'll have to scrap the camera and grab another one. But just a second. One thing I can do, though, after the stream is just plan on using the new camera and just not doing these rolling streams until we figure out what's wrong with this one or get another new camera. So this camera right now is currently power cycling, so you're going to see this go back to a black screen in a second. But anyway, you get the idea. We've been unfortunately dealing with this all day. Ethan says, nice to see you again. Thank you so much, Ethan. Thank you for being here, Ethan. I really appreciate you stopping in. And it's nice to be streaming again, so thank you so much. Detroit Mission Control says, can you take a drive through the village? I don't know. With all the construction that's going right now, there's like a detour that leads into the village and stuff. And I kind of just don't want to get in the way. There's a lot of vehicles going down in the village right now. And I think I would just be in the way right now, but I'll consider that for our future streams. Yazada says it's a good camera. The images look great. Thank you so much. It's just being a pain today. We got to work out the tech issues with it. But like I said, the other new camera that we have, I'm very much enjoying that, and there hasn't been any issues with that one. So we'll stick with those types of streams where we use that camera. But we're back live with this one right now. Okay, so here's another view of this deconstruction that they're doing. This is an old building that they are tearing down, right? I'm trying to get a good view. We got a nice big glare from the sun here today. But you can see all this pipe work as well. That's going to be this whole piece of the road is going to be torn up as well. You can see this heavy equipment right next to me. And I think they're just going to have to go down pretty much the whole length of Starbase. And maybe even further, I don't know. And then these tents, I would imagine these tents might come down as well. I'm not sure. I'm not positive. But I'm curious if these tents will come down as well with the new building that's being constructed. It looks like some of the glass is broken on this building right here. Let me zoom into that one for you. So we'll sit here a second. I'll give you another view of inside the high bay and mega bay. Chocolate Cake, welcome. For anybody just joining, my name is Andrew, and this is Rocket Future. Very much appreciate you being here. We got a weird glare coming in right now on my face cam, but it is Andrew. I'm joining here. We're doing a Jeep stream here today, which has been a little bit of a challenge to work through some tech issues today. But hey, in the end, we're getting it done. We're seeing all the things I wanted to see. It's just there's been a few hiccups along the way, and probably a couple more hiccups to come with this camera. But so far, we were down at the launch site earlier today. We saw a lot of the work that they were doing to the OLM and the launch tower. We took a look at the orbital tank farm, where they've actually pulled out some of the dents into those big tanks that were damaged during the launch. We saw Ship 25, the next ship that's scheduled to launch eventually, along with Booster 9. And we took a quick look at Hoppy. We saw all the construction that's going down the right side when you're looking west down Highway 4. The whole side of the road is dug up for, I think, electric work. And now we're at the build site. We saw all this construction along the side of the road, and a lot of the buildings that they're tearing down in favor of the new building they're building. We got some views inside the high bay and the mega bay, where ship 28 and 29 are currently in the high bay. Thank you again, Stephanie B, for that info. We got a booster in the mega bay. Our next stop is going to be right across from the ring yard to see what we see inside the ring yard, and then we're going to take you in front of the Starship sign, the Starbase sign, to see them working on building the pieces of the next mega bay, which is really cool to see. I want y'all to see that, and we'll see if we can see anything interesting at the Rocket Garden from the road as well. Detroit Mission Control says the ground fabrication building. Yazada also thinks the tents will come down at some point. The question is when. I think that's probably a good guess there. Detroit Mission Control says they emptied the nose cones out of tent 3. They will probably down that tent soon. I did see that. I did see that they brought all the nose cones out of that tent, so I would not be surprised to see the deconstruction of that pretty dang soon. We'll be doing another... we'll be doing a stream like this next week, but I'll put it this way. We're going to learn from the issues that we had this week and figure out how to make a stream like this a little bit better for next week. And we'll see what the states of these buildings are next week. We'll see what's gone, and we'll see what's new, and we'll see how this road construction is doing as well. All right, I'm going to zoom out here a little bit, and then I'm going to wait for a big gap in traffic, and we will move forward to the ring yard. So hard to see if anybody's coming. All right, again, if we lose connection, it'll be a couple minutes. Alright, we're live again. We are at the ring yard. Oh man. The pole's right in the way, isn't it? I wonder if I can twist it without losing connection again. We're gonna have to try it. Bear with me if we lose connection again. Alright, I don't think... Nope, looks like we did not lose connection. That's great. So now I should be able to pan right over and see what's going on here in the ring yard. Now, I don't want to zoom in. I don't want to zoom in on these sheriffs, but I'm going to try to zoom past them on this nose cone and these rings. So let's kind of go around them. Alright, let's go up. Zoom out a little bit. And zoom up, go up a little bit. There we go. And over. So as we can see, we got some rings, we got some nose cones, and actually the sheriff has moved out of the way, so I can zoom out a little bit and get the full picture here. It would be really cool to see some sort of action going on right here. If we saw some sort of raptors being moved around or anything, but I don't see anything too exciting going on. The mosquito sprayer is coming out. Put my windows up. You can see this truck, this white truck that's about to pull out is a sprayer that sprays for mosquitoes. I think he's staying on site. It doesn't look like he's coming out here, which is good. The mosquitoes down here can be terrible. And obviously, I do not want to be getting bitten by a million mosquitoes, but at the same time, I don't want to be breathing in a ton of that chemicals either. I don't know. So again, this is the Mega Bay and the High Bay. These are where they're actually building these colossal rockets. The boosters and ships get built in these very buildings. The rings are stacked together here, and that's what makes up these two pieces of the world's largest and most powerful rocket ever. We can see the rocket garden just sticking out the left-hand side of the screen there. Try to give you a little bit of a view of that. Looks like we're having a nice sunset here in a minute as well. There's that rocket garden back there and the edge of my Starlink dish pole. checking my Twitter just to make sure there's no additional requests, and I'll check chat now as well. Thanks everybody for being patient with us on today's stream. It's a little bit scuffed, but it's okay. Slot says, hey Andrew, and hey everybody. Welcome, Slot. Good to see you. And Andy M is here as well. Welcome everybody in. We've had a stream here so far and just showing the launch site. Now we're at the build site, all the updates, all of the construction. We're going to break down all of this this footage sometime in the next day or two and post a video update to our channel. You know where our channel is. You're watching it now. It's Rocket Future. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. It is free of charge. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It basically just means that you want to be notified of any new content we post to the channel. Excuse me. And we should be posting some pretty good content soon. We're going to keep updating you with what's happening down here at Starbase. Monday, I think there's still a road closure for Monday, and we could see some exciting testing down here at Starbase. We might be able to see Starship S-25 go through some testing. Now, we're not exactly sure what that road closure is for yet, but I think it might be related to S-25 testing. So hit that subscribe button. It helps us a lot. Liking, commenting, sharing with your friends, all of those things help us so much as well. You know, we got into a really, really good momentum before launch, and we had some great launch footage. And we just need to build that momentum back up and keep rolling with this channel here. Really excited for this next chapter here at Starbase. I feel like it was like pre-launch was like a whole chapter, and then launch was a whole chapter, and now post-launch and leading up to our next launch is like starting a new chapter down here. It was nice to take some time to kind of refocus on what I'm doing. And now we just need to tackle documenting this next piece of Starbase, which I am very, very excited for. So this is going to be good. We're gonna have some fun here over the next few months. So yeah, not a ton going here at the ring yard. I will show you another view of the ring yard, unless we're frozen again. And then we're gonna move on to where they're working on. There we are. Working on the pieces of the next mega bay, and it just looks so cool. I might be able to pan over and show you those right now before we go over there. It looks so cool seeing them build the pieces, you know, bit by bit. Oh yeah, there they are. So hold on, let me first pan back over to the high bay and mega bay so you can kind of see the structures of them. Okay, so you see these two buildings in front of me, the high bay, the mega bay, the big gray buildings. You can see those like the pieces that go around the outside boundary of the building for, you know, strengthening the building. You can see how this I almost called it a vehicle. This building is built. Now let's look back over to the left, and we see pieces that look just like that. And again, I'm gonna move over there so we can actually see them. On the right hand side of the screen there, you can see them putting together the next pieces for the next building. So that's awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. Little, you know, modular pieces of a building, putting them together and then assembling them all in one place. It's just so cool. All right, we're waiting for a gap in traffic. We're gonna potentially lose connection again for another 3-4 minutes, and then we'll be back across the street from the Starbase sign, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna go. Actually, I can see pretty. I'm gonna have to push this down just so I can see the mirror, and then we'll get on the road. The camera most likely will pause. We did kind of figure out that much at least. Nobody behind us, we can go nice and slow. We've lost camera connection, but not internet connection, which is great. We'll reset that camera here in a moment. We do have somebody coming up behind me, so I might pull over for a second here unless we can get to where we're going. I'm going to pull over and let this person pass here. Oh, they are not even pulling out. Alright, I'm going to move back into the road. Alright, let me go reseat that connection. One sec. Alright, camera is reconnecting, and of course we got another big glare here. Let me fix that. That helps. A little bit. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Checking in on chat. Joshua Shup, I saw something about a lunar version at the build site there. Can you get a shot of it? Joshua, you might have seen a old picture. There used to be a white Starship nose cone here. It looks like we have our camera back. There used to be a white nose cone here. That was back in the day. That is no longer here, so you might have seen an old picture. Otherwise, you might have heard about Starship S-27, but I'm sure you know about 27. I'll actually pan over and show you 27. 27 is potentially an expendable Starship version. It does not have any heat shield tiles and doesn't have any flaps yet. Are they going to put any tiles or flaps on it? Who knows? But there it is right there. Why doesn't it have ship or flaps? Flaps or tiles? It could be an expendable Starship design. It could be, I think less likely, it could be like tanker design. Although I think that would probably have re-entry capacity as well. But most likely this is just expendable Starship design. So they would put additional payload capacity on Starship and not have it re-enter, and then it could use more of the performance just to get the payload to orbit or wherever it is going. So we do have that, and then we have Starships in the background. We have Booster 3, 15, 20, and oh boy, what do we have? We have S20. We have 15. What's the other ship? Who in chat knows what the other ship is? That's where 420 was. I mean, that's where 24 was before it launched. Oh, so Yazada might have some more details that That's interesting. So Yazada says it's inside the mid-bay and the door points the other way. Supposedly it has airlocks and all the proper spaceship stuff. I think it's just a mock-up and not real deal. I've been away from the game for too long here these last couple weeks. I don't even know about that. Gotcha. Oh, we're about to get fogged by the mosquito sprayer. Damn it. Let me zoom out so you can see him. There's the mosquito sprayer. We're going too far. So, okay. Yeah, interesting. Wow. It's like I said, it's amazing how many things changed in the last couple weeks. So, for me to keep an eye on, I'm going to keep an eye on ship 28 and 29 in the high bay. I'm going to keep an eye out for the new lunar mock-up that Yazada told us about here a second ago. We're going to keep an eye on ship 25 as it goes through some testing. And I'm going to keep making sure that I got all the news and updates here at Starbase. So what's today? Today is Thursday. I'm on call for my other job this weekend. So I'm not sure whether or not I'll be able to get down here this weekend, but I do kind of plan on getting down here this weekend. So we'll see. If I do, I'll try to do a stream this weekend. Maybe we'll just hang out down near the launch site and just sit and watch them work on the LLM and tower while I get some stuff done. But if we don't get to that this weekend, I'm currently planning on streaming on Monday during the testing window. There's currently a road closure for Monday. So we'll see if we see like a cryo test or something with ship 25. So what we're looking at right now is the Starbase sign, and then again those pieces of the next building that they're putting together, which is really cool. It's actually a really nice picture. And then we got the rocket garden just to the side of me here. So we've seen most of the stuff that I want to show you. Of course, we can't really see great views of the new Mega Bay building. That they're better views of that as it gets built out. And just so much stuff happening here. It's crazy. It blows my mind how much work is happening down here at Starbase right now. So this was not the the most technically sound stream, but I'm glad we just got out here and we got it done. And I really appreciate everybody for coming in and stopping by. I'm going to still be here for a few more minutes to answer any questions, but I will start slowing things down and wrapping things up. Joshua says, now you know how the Northeast feels, right? Yazada says, the thing in the mid-bay is a cargo bay and nose cone. I think it is a pressure bulkhead for internal pressurization. They're experimenting around with the crude version concepts. That is really, really cool. That's cool. I can't wait to see more of that. The more we see about crewed Starship, the more this is all going to feel more real. And I can't wait to start seeing, new mock-ups of what it will look like inside, and if each ship will look different, or it's just so much ahead of us for this Starship vehicle. It's really, really exciting. But we broke the seal today in getting our streams back going. So just me getting out here today is a good step for us to start building this momentum back up. I'm going to start coming back out here at least once a week, if not more. And any testing that is going to happen, we're going to be doing those streams as well. So if there's any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat now. I'm not signing off yet, but for anybody just joining, my name is Andrew. This is Rocket Future. We got kind of a view of me in here in the Jeep here today. We did a drive-through of Starbase, and we did something today. I don't know what it was, but I think we'll be able to turn it into a half-decent video if I edit out a lot of the problems we had here today, and just have a Starbase update video that I'll post on the YouTube. Don't forget to check out our other socials as well, our Twitter, our Instagram, all that good stuff. Our Twitter is definitely our most up to date. Instagram, we're going to start trying to post more pictures too as well, but we're keeping that up to date as much as we can. YouTube's our main bread and butter, of course. YouTube is the place to find us. We generally will put shorts up to kind of update you about the quick news about what's happening here. You know, I'll show the rollout videos, or I'll show a quick video of a cryo test or a quick video of a static fire. And then we do live streams of all the tests that happen here. And then occasionally we do these live streams of what's happening with Starbase infrastructure as well. We'll probably do more of these in the next few months while SpaceX is ramping up testing again. And then when testing gets back to its full capacity, we'll be focusing mainly on that testing. But we don't only cover Starbase. We also went down to the SLS launch last year. That was amazing. I plan to hit some other launches. I'd like to get to a Rocket Lab launch soon. I'm reaching out to folks too to talk to industry professionals, do interviews. We're going to do a couple interviews with some of the other content creators down here. So I think you'd like that. I plan to kind of sit around a campfire with somebody you probably know very well down here at Starbase. If you haven't checked out our interview with Tim Dodd yet, please check that out. It's on our channel as well. We talked about Deer Moon and all sorts of fun stuff. We got some content coming up about the upcoming solar eclipses and all of that good stuff. So we took some time off, but we're back in action. This year is going to be a good one. We're going to really push hard closing out this next year. So I've been down here at Starbase for a year now. So even though we're halfway through 2023, I'm kind of feel like this is a new year that's starting. Like I'm starting my second year down here at Starbase. So we're going to go really hard at this year. And I'm going to try to bring you all of the most exciting stuff that's happening down here at Starbase and outside of Starbase. So I think that is all I have for today. Let me check on in chat. Thank you all so much for joining. Yazada says they're supposed to have the HLS ready in 2025, I think, so they need to start thinking about crewed Starships now. Very true. Andy says we are happy to have a live stream again. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be doing this again. Will says when orbit. Great question. Man, I think while it's possible we see another launch this year, it's not going to be an orbital launch, so I would have to say next year at the earliest for when orbit. Yazada is really happy. Says I'm really happy to see you back, Andrew. Thank you so much, Yazada. Again, Yazada, I couldn't thank you anymore for being a member of this channel. Huge shout out to all of our members, all of our Patreon supporters, and anybody that's just here hanging out with us, chatting, and being with us here today and all of our streams. Your support is what makes this channel work. Without it, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd probably still be down here hanging out because I love Starbase. But if there wasn't anybody watching, I would have stopped doing. You know, I like doing the content, but I mean, again, if there's nobody watching, then I'm not educating and inspiring and bringing all this news to people, and that's what I like doing the most. So when people are here and excited with me, that's when I'm the most excited to be doing this stuff. So thank you all so much. A lot more to come. Appreciate y'all very much. That's it for me for today. My name is Andrew. This is Rocket Future. We'll see you next time, and peace out. See ya.